Thank you very much. I'm really pleased to see this report, and I do believe in what you're saying here about the need for a more systematic cooperation needed at EU and member level, because there is great disparity amongst member states about how well they're doing on youth policy and how where they place it in the scheme of things, and what credence they give to the voice of youth. I was very disappointed when we had the interparliamentary meeting before Christmas, when in fact my own government representative did not turn up to speak at that meeting. And the short survey that had been done amongst a small number of member states, in fact, for me, represented great shortcomings from my own government about education and youth policy, because they did not talk once about youth in this. They only talked about targets, curriculum, really narrow view of what education can be. And I think being in this House, learning from different policies, learning from different countries, I've come to see that there are extraordinary best practice examples right across the EU member states, and we could learn much from each other. I'd just like to talk a little bit about precarious employment. Young people are often really exploited by unscrupulous employers, and austerity measures have meant that more and more 0-hours contracts, more unscrupulous employers finding loopholes in legislation, exploiting young people has been practice. So then young people can't, Christina talked about housing. I think, young people want to get on that housing ladder. They want a decent home. They want the prospect of having a family, of some kind of decent life in the future. And it's very difficult for them to think about other things when they don't know whether or not they're actually going to have a wage at the end of the week. And whilst I think that volunteering is really important, some organisations, some countries, some employers, some community organisations actually use volunteering as a means to further exploit young people. So volunteering has to be a pathway into paid work. Volunteering has to lead to something other than doing it for nothing. And volunteering cannot take the place of public services, which the state should be providing. So yes, great, do a little bit of volunteering and then encourage other people, but actually make sure that that leads to something else. I'd also like to ask whether or not young people see themselves in the power structures and the institutions, because if they don't see themselves represented in the European institutions, then actually they begin to lose hope. And that's why they're out on the streets in Paris. That's why they're in the Occupy movement. That's why they're taking to the streets and demonstrating in London, as they were on Saturday, against the austerity measures, because they don't see themselves and the door isn't open for them. And I think particularly for young people who see themselves as other, so young people, for example, who are lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, don't see themselves in the power structures, young people who were refugees or asylum seekers, young people who are disabled, they don't see themselves, so they don't feel welcome, and then they don't feel that their views are taken on board. So I think we need to engage much more with young people on their terms, and we need to find a more welcoming way of bringing them into the institutions and giving them a really powerful voice, not tokenistic gestures. And I'm not saying, Andrea, that that's what your report isn't that. I accept that. I think that your report has actually done a really good job, but we do need to go further, and I think we need to be stronger in defending young people and giving them some hope.